Jason, if you were Finance Minister Jim Flaherty, what would be your single most important priority in the federal budget?
Jobs. Jobs, definitely. There's a lot of different ways that we could do that. Keeping debt low, making sure that we've got a good, solid economy in Canada that creates jobs.
What do you mean by jobs?
Well, I mean jobs for the middle class, jobs for young people. I think it's important that for this, for the upcoming sort of 5 to 10 years, that we've got an economic plan that might include responsible resource development. It includes a trade agenda. It includes essentially trying to grow the economy at a pace that is not, this 1% growth. It's encouraging investment in this country so that companies can hire people, so that we can have sort of a growing middle class rather than a shrinking middle class.
Job creation. What about you, Susan? What would be your single most important priority if you were Finance Minister?
Job creation, I'll agree with Jason as well on that front. It's important for the economy to have people working. People work, people spend, they invent new things, they build new things, they buy new things. So finding ways to do that through investments in affordable education, through investments in research and development, through investments in healthcare, that's important to keep keeping people, and looking at our seniors as well. It's something when you're a young person you don't think about too much, but if you think about how your parents might have to help your grandparents at the same time, if there's a way that going forward we can look at the economy so that we help people at the younger end of the spectrum and the older end of the spectrum, that'll help everybody else in the middle at the same time.
We'll all tell you that we would put in initiatives that support jobs. The problem is the last few budgets actually cut jobs from the economy because they've focused on cutting social services and public sector employees. That's actually hurt the economy by, as some economists say, almost as much as 1% of GDP. So we need to have a budget that actually supports a balanced and fair economy and the jobs that come with that for the middle class. We need to help middle class families who are struggling to make ends meet and make sure that those corporations are paying their fair share. Right now, the tax burden is too much on middle class families and not enough on the corporations that should be creating jobs.
So if you were Finance Minister, what would you do? What would be the one thing you would do?
Well, I would restore our corporate tax rate to a level that allows us to have a bigger surplus so we can make the imbalanced investments we've been talking about here today. The investments like early childhood education, investments to help encourage access to post-secondary education, and infrastructure investments that create jobs in the short term and productivity for the economy in the long term.